Hey, how's it going guys? Jack and Matt here with the ToastyBros, and today we're going to be talking about the best budget GPUs of 2022 going into 2023.
And these are not them. These are just GPU boxes because it just felt a little empty on the table here, but today's going to be a little talking video and we're going to show you some benchmarks of some of our favorite budget GPUs that we've used in PC builds or just benchmark videos here on the channel so you make the right decision when shopping for your next GPU. But before we dive into that, let's hear a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by our friends at Team Group and their Christmas event that is going on right now. If you want a chance to win some awesome Team Group products, then you should click the link in the description down below to enter. For one of the giveaways, there is a weekly quiz that you can enter for a chance to win. Let us know in the comment section down below if you answered the quiz correctly. Once again, check the link down below to enter this awesome giveaway hosted by our friends at Team Group, and big thanks again to them for sponsoring today's video. And as always, definitely consider Team Group products for your next gaming PC build.
So guys, we have bought and sold a lot of graphics cards, whether it was just the graphics card alone or they were going in the system. With PCBros, you know, we've gone through probably over 3,000 graphics cards by now, so we just have a little bit of experience on what graphics cards are pretty good for the price and what graphics cards aren't so good for the price.
And how we're going to break this video down is we're going to go over some of our favorite new GPU options on the market right now, and then also discuss some of the best used GPU options on the market, because if you want to save some money, obviously buying used is the best option, and we do highly recommend buying a used graphics card because it can save you a ton of money in your gaming PC build. But also there are people out there who want to buy new, and we got you covered on both fronts.
So the first card that we have to give a shout out to is the AMD RX 6400. Now, this one's a shout out with some disclaimers because it's a weird one. It's a Gen 4 card that comes in both low profile and full size. Now, what we mean by Gen 4 is it needs to run in a Gen 4x4 configuration. That means you're gonna really wanna put this card with something like 11 Gen or newer, but doesn't mean you can't put it with something older. We have tested this and we even sell these PCs with 3rd and 4th Gen Optiplexes that just have Gen 3 support. You just lose a little bit of performance that you do technically pay for, but at $150 new, this is really the only new budget card that exists, because NVIDIA's next step up is basically the RTX 3050, which is a $300 graphics card that, yes, you are getting more performance for, but you're paying double the price. So we really think the 6400 does have a place in the market.
Now this one's gonna be a little bit weird. We're talking about the RX 580, and yes, we're talking about the new RX 580, mainly because on AliExpress you can get these RX 580s, actually new RX 580s with these custom coolers from brands that you probably never even heard of for about $70 or less. Now they are 4 gig cards and they are gonna perform, well, pretty decently now. You will be able to play the latest and greatest titles at 1080p medium settings and probably get 60 FPS. We do have some build guides coming with the 584 gig from AliExpress, and also there's some sellers coming into the US to sell on Amazon that are also selling these cards. Now yes, it is an older card and the support you're gonna get for it might be a bit limited compared to the other cards we're gonna mention here. We're probably getting close to the point where drivers might not be supported on these cards anymore, because we were really pushing these cards years ago, back in 2015, 2016, as one of our favorite budget GPU options on the used market. But it's very interesting to see at under $100, which, as Jackson mentioned with that 6400, there's not a lot of options new right now. You can actually pick one up from AliExpress and get some pretty solid gaming performance.
Now, going back on what I said about that RTX 3050, the GTX 1650 is a card that you can sometimes still get new. It's kind of hit or miss. They're really good about the OEM companies. So look at Dell, HP, Lenovo. They can get their hands on these 1650s all day. You can too, but you gotta look for the right price cards. It's kind of like the 1050 Ti. That card lingered forever. It was still being sold on Amazon about 7 years after its release, and it was still being sold new, but sometimes it was being sold for $200+. So the same goes to say for the 1650, which basically was the successor to that card. You just wanna make sure you're not paying more than about $150 for a normal GTX 1650, but you can still get them new, so definitely keep an eye on that card's pricing.
Now it seems like I'm just focusing on the AliExpress cards when it comes new, but the card that I have right here is the RX 6600M, which we did a benchmark video on. This card is really awesome for not only people in the United States, but the big value you are getting is it's an internationally friendly card, meaning when you buy some from AliExpress, you're actually getting a really good price card that also is available in other countries. So the 6600M is literally a 6600, but it is the mobile version that was in laptops. And there's companies out there have taken these laptop GPUs that they have just a ton of, put them on a PCB, slapped a cooler on, and boom, you have a full desktop GPU. It just takes the drivers for the laptop GPU and you're good to go. And we were incredibly happy with the performance, how power efficient it was. And really, I think it's the best value for those outside of the US. In the US, it's still a good value, but we're gonna be talking about the RX 6600 6600 normal that you can buy used that is normally a little bit cheaper than it and also performs about the same. We'll talk about that later, but for in other countries, the 6600M is probably your best option when you can't pick up the RX 6600 non-M. And in terms of performance, 1080p, 1440p gaming, 60 plus FPS in the latest and greatest titles, it's really hard to beat this AMD card.
Now for a card that should outperform the RX 580, and it's around the same price as that AliExpress card, is the GTX 970. Now this is going to be used because they have not made that card in some years now, but it is still a great card. You're going to be looking at eBay, you're going to be looking at Facebook, Marketplace, OfferUp, LetGo, places like that. But if you can get this card for, let's just say 65 or less, you're getting a heck of a deal because this card can still play 1080p, even some 1440p esports and AAA titles at lower settings. So it's an awesome bang for the buck card that we do highly recommend.
Now another card that is very popular still, according to the Steam hardware survey, one of the most popular cards out there is the GTX 1060. We're talking about the 3 gig and the 6 gig, but for the most part, the 3 gig is where you're gonna get the most value for your money at under $100. And this card is still readily available. It's very well supported and will play all your esports titles out there. When we're talking about budget GPUs, we're talking about playing games like Fortnite, Apex Legends, Valorant, some other games like that. You could stretch into Call of Duty and Warzone on lower settings. That's where you might get some problems is in Warzone with the 1060, especially the 3 gig only have 3 gigs of VRAM, but it is still a very capable GPU. And again, a big thing with these used graphics cards is you want to have some longevity here. You want to make sure that you're not going to run out of support within like a year and then have a graphics card that won't play any game to throw at it, even though it has the physical power to actually be able to do that. So that's something to keep in mind, and I do believe the 1060 is a good choice for that.
Now the next card we've talked about a couple times already, the RX 6600, and I do want to give some shout outs to the RX 6600 XT and also the 6650 XT as well, because AMD just does a lot of kind of, I guess you could say, drops where I'll see 6650 XTs for cheaper than 6600s, but we're talking about the used market. The 6600 non-XT, non-650 XT is always going to be the cheapest on the used market. Go to eBay, you will find these cards for 150 and sometimes less for a normal 6600, 8 gigs of VRAM. You can get ones that have 3 fans. They're just insane cards, lots of display outs, really awesome. But like I said, keep an eye on the new market too, because you can get the normal cards and the 6650 XTs for sometimes $215, which is a great price with the warranty.
And the last GPU we do have to give a mention to is the RX 5000 series line, more specifically the 5600 XT. This card isn't nearly as good of a value with the RX 6600 is as cheap as it is, but you can find like the RX 5500 XT, 5600 XT, and 5700 XT around that $100 to about $170 price range, and you really can't go wrong with any option. At 1080p with the 5600 XT, 60 plus FPS, and even Warzone, you'll have no problems there. 6 gigs of VRAM will carry you a long way, and you shouldn't have any issues in 1080p also if you're gonna play some newer AAA titles. So overall, I think the 5600 XT is still a good buy. I probably wouldn't spend more than about $120, $130 for it nowadays, especially again with other cards on the market. But if you do pick one up for that price point, I think you'll be incredibly happy with the performance. Just be a little bit careful. This card series was known very heavily for cryptocurrency mining, and there's a lot of GPUs out there nowadays with the cryptocurrency crash. You have to be a little bit careful there, but if you find one in good shape or buy from eBay and get buyer protection, I think you're gonna get a really solid deal.
Now, of course, we could go through a list and name 100 more cards because like I said, we've used every graphics card many multiple times. All the way from GTX 220s all the way up to RTX 4090s. We have used them all, we've tested them all, we benchmarked them all, and every card for the right price has a buyer, it has a market, it has a good bang for buck for it. But the ones that we mentioned were ones that we have seen the most recently and the most often have really good bang for buck. Keep an eye on the market. Let us know in the comment section down below what cards you have been taking a look at, which ones you've bought for really good pricing, because we know you guys get some good deals out there and we want to hear about it.
So yeah, once again, in the description down below, we'll have a bunch of links to a bunch of retailers where you can buy some of the graphics cards we mentioned in today's video, and they will be affiliate links and they will help us out. But yeah, let us know down below. I'm very interested to hear what kind of GPUs you've been scoring.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Now, if you want to let some experts pick out the GPU for you, feel free to ask some questions over at PCBros, and feel free to use that discount code Matt's going to tell you about.
Ho, ho, ho. Santa 5% off. I got to hit you with that ho, ho, ho. You can save 5% off a gaming PC, gaming laptop, and so much more. And yeah, go use that discount code Santa 5% off a PC or PCBros.tech. See you guys later. Goodbye.
Peace out.
PCBros.